All right.
Do you want to do
Yeah, now we should
this?
be live now. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I'm like full ranty today, so welcome to episode, I think 53 if EG was actually correct last week. I guess this is a new year for the show because we've done 52 weeks. So if you watch one a week, we've done a year now. Um, just to yeah, we'll let's do the formalities. I'm one of your hosts, Greg. I'm based in Sydney, and the dude laughing is EG. He's my co-host. He pretends to own a weapon yard
He's
in
got a
Canberra or something. I
man.
don't know. Um,
Be prepared, everyone. Be
yeah, I
prepared.
don't know. Um, just a disclaimer at the top of the show, just because it's 2019 and people get offended. So this is not a religion. This is not gospel. This is a show based around opinion. So sometimes our opinions you might not agree with. Also, some of our facts need fact checking by our astute audience. Um, we don't claim to know everything and don't claim to have all the correct answers, but we sort of go off social media gossip. So we're more like New Idea or Women's Weekly than ABC
What?
News. So yeah, just do some of your own background research before you jump to conclusions that these two idiots that you're listening to now are actually right.
Some of the stuff I say is generalization as well. It's not
Well, it's
specific to anyone.
yeah, but
Those other times it is. So.
yeah, well, yeah, we know that too. But yeah, like yeah, like shit, like yeah, a few people have been getting upset about stuff. Yeah, sometimes we're wrong. So I've been told that I need to apologise to Vic Drift for being wrong last week. Clearly the tyres were put somewhere that wasn't whatever corner that I thought it was, and it was put somewhere else to protect grass. And I apologise if people thought I meant Vic Drift was dumb enough to put it there. I'm well aware that tracks go and put shit in dumb places because that first Revo day that were allowed after Wakefield put drifting back on, they put a truck tyre basically where you're going to write your car off in a couple of places, or just single tyres around the track that you would roll your car on. Like, I fully understand that that's track issues. No drift organisation. If drift organisations could, they would pull all walls away and all tyres away and not give.
Oh, I don't think they'd pull
Um,
walls away,
no, maybe not,
but
but still not in a place that you're going to go head on with it and write your car off or anything super
oh
retarded.
yeah,
Um,
even just lift your car up and roll it. Because you know that Wakefield day you were just talking about. When I was talking to Nick Nielsen about it, he was saying that before we arrived, or I think it was even the day before, there had been like 4 times as many tires and four times as many truck tires scattered around the track to try and protect the track somehow.
yeah,
But it looked more like I don't know, like so much potential to roll. So you'd hit a truck tire, and then you could potentially just like go side on and roll your car over it.
yeah. So we understand, like, we're both a bit special, but we're not that retarded that we would think a drift club or an organization would put somebody in that sort of position. So yeah, sorry. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Yeah, look, if you
I'm
follow,
surprised
well, if
that
you
people
follow
think that
it,
we have
look,
that much influence. So
yeah, well, it is, it's Wednesday night while we're doing this. If you're listening to it later, Married at First Sight is still on for another 40 minutes. So if you are following Married at First Sight, go and watch that instead of this, because that's a bigger train wreck than this show. Um, so Human Nature, you're better off going and watching that. I should actually have it on now, but EG made me do this shit tonight. Um,
all right, I'll let you explain. Just keep going.
just keep going. I don't know. I had
Yeah.
enough ranting off 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 air already. Um,
I think you had some really good points though.
yeah, but
I think.
get in trouble for having opinions, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Get in trouble for opinions. Um, yeah, I've lost
So
my.
tonight's guest, we had uh,
No, let's not. No,
Paul Austin.
yeah, well, let's not throw names under the bus. We said it last week, and if you listened to the end of last week, then you would know who was supposed to come on. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah, we mentioned it already, but
we we're getting too many
yeah,
softcocks.
uh, no, he had some work commitments, so that's why he wasn't able to come. But he's keen to come on. But yeah, we really need to get some of these like
It's because the night,
last minute.
because it's after dark. So those guys who have to walk street corners to help pay for their drifting, um, are stuck working at this time.
I didn't ask what he does for work.
Ah, my bad. I shouldn't have sold him out on that one. But with his luscious hair, it's hard to resist.
Oh, how could you resist those curls?
Definitely. Um, lead me somewhere, mate. Just lead me.
I don't know. We
Oh,
usually start off with the news, but
yeah. So in
I
sad
don't
news,
think.
well, no, there's a bit of
Yeah.
news. In sad news, and he sometimes listens to us, and I'd love to get him on at some stage to let us know more details. But it looks like Mitch Lana hasn't been able to get a program together to do the European Drift Masters or um, whatever it's called, Drift Games Extreme this year. So,
Yeah,
um,
that was surprising because he did so well last year.
well, it's not so much. Uh, it's not so much a surprise because that shit's expensive and it's far.
Yeah,
But what's
but still, if you've got that sort of result, then and like that community type of community over there, even though they don't seem to like non-Irish people, because that's a sort of not like them, but like it seems a bit more difficult over there if you're not Irish. If you've noticed, I'm sure everyone's noticed
but it
from overseas.
yeah, but I don't want to go into this shit totally considering we've done it often. Um, but even FD said that when they were going up to Canada, it was hard for guys to get their marketing programs to want to pay their money while they're in Canada because those marketing programs don't cross borders. Uh, so
So why not get it locally?
well, yeah, of course, but I think a lot of the dudes who are over there are similar to what dudes here are doing and just sort of writing it off on businesses and doing all that sort of stuff to get keen. For me personally, uh, I wish Mitch had sort of tried to go to a crowdfunding type scenario before, well before the season started, just to get some backing, and then he could always pay the crowdfunders back or something like that if he managed to score a major sponsor. But I think there's a lot of Aussies who would uh, love to throw their support behind him because he's a young dude that can clearly steer, proved himself last season, and uh, it's just a shame to not see him be able to back that up with a program. I don't know, it'd just be cool to see him land somewhere, but I think at this stage this season will be a bit of a write-off for him. Um, I think ideally we would have seen him go over to New Zealand or do something cheaper and closer, at least while he was trying to get a program together for overseas. But I don't want to speculate too much on it. I'm from what I saw on Drift Games, he was working to try and get a program together, but clearly you know, fell short on making that program work. But uh, yeah, we'll reach out to him at some stage and try and grab him. We've had a couple of chats with him before, and super nice guy, was super supportive. Messaged me when my 14 got taken, so yeah, it's just that to me, like that's the biggest drift news sort of out of Australia um, in the last week, and to me that's a massive shame because really we had Mitch and Maddie representing Australia, and Maddie's got a good program going overseas, but Mitch was definitely the guy proving results in series that uh, yeah, he was. I think he was you know on his way to being the dude who was going to ruin the Irish's claim to only being the only ones who they haven't beaten on their home soil. So all it would have taken was Mitch to make the finals and a car to break on the other side, and the judges couldn't screw him out of winning. So um, yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, hopefully we get him on soon and we'll have a chat to him about it because yeah, that to me sucks big time. So genuinely upset on that one.
Yeah, it's not so good, is it?
Nah,
Wish. You never know. Like
nah, he's
he
not gonna.
might pop up in there.
Nah, he won't pop up. Or he might pop up over in Extreme as one of their guest drivers, but
Yep.
it looks like what they've moved to over there for both Drift Games Extreme and European Drift Masters is you have to lock in your spot for the season. Um, and I think
Oh, okay.
he wasn't able uh, to be able to be secure enough to be able to lock in that position. So yeah, they have uh, they do have wildcard spots, but yeah, that'll probably be the limit of what happens. Yes, we're aware that Maddie came third at the first round of D1NZ. But yeah, it's a shame. We're down to one dude representing Australia overseas now. So, or two, depending on what Josh Robinson does. But I don't think there's been um, much word around about what his plan is for the next FD season. But I would
Looks
imagine
like he's got a new engine in the works.
I should let's you know what? Let's just troll the internet and make predictions and upset people.
He's
Because
putting together a V10 or V12, I think, from last I saw on
oh, but it's
Instagram.
like still an LS base or something. No,
Yeah,
it's
like
like a V.
his.
It's like a V. It's a V12 LS or some shit. If it's not a piss take.
Yeah, I don't
I,
know how they're doing it. And
I think it's a
I didn't
custom.
really look.
It's like
I
a.
didn't really look into it at all. But I remember seeing a poll put up about what should he do for his engine choice, and then I think he based his decision on the poll.
But
And
but my question is, unless you're making content outside of just showing up and driving an event, does anybody give a shit what your power plant is? To the point, like when it comes to your marketing, to the marketing of a
yeah,
program, do you think people care? Well, people say Damien Cook's saying that it's not for a drift car. Well, that's a shame that it's not for a drift car. And as I was gonna say, like I don't think it makes you. If it makes a cool noise like the V12 in New Zealand, then yeah, cool. But unless you're gonna use it for that sort of um, Shoulder said, yeah, it's 12 flaming dildos. um, you're killing me. Yeah, unless you're going to use it to actually market yourself and do extra stuff outside of it, once a car rips around the track, that's it. Like the Ferrari in FD to me didn't make a huge impact other than
no, but the other person you could look at as an example if you wanted to is Mad Mike.
but he
I mean,
used it. But he used it to
yeah,
market himself. This is my point.
yeah. So he's still putting the engine together. He could potentially market himself.
Oh no, no, yeah,
Remember
100%.
Mad Mike back in the day? Either he was just known for having the
The
quad
loud
rotor.
rotaries.
Yeah, and then his back then his driving was pretty average.
Yeah.
It's a lot better these days, I think.
Oh,
So
world class now.
yeah,
Genuinely world class now.
yeah, well, he definitely did prove himself last year because he got the FD Japan championship. I think that's his first sort of international championship he's gotten.
Oh, 100. Yeah, I'd be pretty confident in saying, yeah, for sure. But
Otherwise, yeah, he hasn't really. I don't think he's had any big results. So what have you heard?
Shoulder said he markets himself by wearing shit hats.
Are you talking about Josh Robinson?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say names, but you did.
Yeah, the cowboy hat.
Yeah, honestly I don't pay enough attention. I don't look at his social media really. So,
I think that's something he's trying to. I'm not really keen on that hat either, but that's my opinion.
It's super Americanized. Like it's the Crocodile Dundee thing, which isn't even really an Aussie thing. Like
Yeah, I get that, and that's why I can see what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but it's like a crappy attempt at an Aussie Akubra type thing.
Well, I think we're looking at it from an Australian type of view. I
Oh
think
yeah, of course.
Americans,
But it was
yeah,
like what's his name, Yokoi, when Yokoi started wearing the cowboy hat type thing too, because
yeah,
cause,
yeah,
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 cause,
that's right. Yeah,
cause some fan gave it to him or whatever. And
yeah,
then a bunch of the time Daigo would wear a sombrero and all that sort of shit. So
yeah. And
um,
it seems like Americans don't get jokes unless you tell them, like, you say the joke and say this was funny, and then they start laughing. And it's like, okay,
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So I think FD's like 60 something days away from starting, and there's still
didn't have a clue.
a lot of stuff happening. I need to share
I
it in the community group. There's a So Matt Field, who's the dude who drives the Falcon Corvette, the C6,
yeah,
is building a C7 for a customer who's a Brazilian driver. And car's gonna look
yeah.
fucking sick. Like very
Do you like
cool.
Corvettes?
I do like Corvettes. Um, very cool car. The new one does look, yeah, absolutely sick. So, uh, yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. And his old S14's coming out of the garage too and being driven by one of the guys who took last year off driving because he just sort of couldn't manage a program. Oh, you're in trouble.
Don't know. There's someone at the door.
Tell the Mormons to go away. Jehovah's Witness.
Hang on, yeah. Sorry.
No, I think it's your. I think it's probably Steve. Welcome to live media. Alright, well, I've lost my co-host. I'm just going to sit here and talk shit. Um, Feel free to post anything in the comments because I'm happy to go at any topic. George sent me a message talking about the Audi RS3 and the
Okay,
versus the
so I
Barra.
guess he's arrived.
Yeah, I figured that by the picture he just sent you.
Oh, I didn't see it at all.
Um, the RS3 versus the Barra thing from QR Power Cruise, and yeah, no idea. I saw it a little bit, but I didn't actually fully understand it other than the RS3 keeps getting chopped by a whole bunch of people is my understanding of that video. So
Okay, I didn't hear anything you said. I wonder if Steve's just gonna stand out in my kitchen for
3 hours,
1.5 hours.
3 hours.
2 hours. Okay.
Just leave
He's
him
gonna
there.
stand there for 2 hours. Okay.
That's all right. Get him. Hey, live stream from outside and get him to do a burnout or something in his car.
No, not in my street.
Please, please elaborate. Um, Elaborate your point, Shoulders. I don't understand it. I've been like shitty with social media this week. Um, Ben Petta, I see a big difference in opinion from people. What is yours? Adam LZ, good for drift scene or bad? I'm personally a fan of the dude. He's gotten quite good. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Adam LZ. Uh, I think some people start to forget that that's how he makes his living. Like that YouTube channel is literally how he makes a living. Uh, and he, yeah, he's ended up doing everything. He's made the mistakes for people, really. Like, yeah, he's got a retarded drift car, but we've seen him drift the S15 once. Um, the car with the SR, he went for big power and then he brought it back down again because he went and uh, broke that, and then he's gone and got a super reliable stock as hell other than Wisefab 350 that him and two of his closest mates go in tandem and run laps at every single event and just beat the crap out of those cars. So he sort of anybody who takes away from it what he's actually done and then goes, oh, where am I at on that sort of totem pole of being able to do what he's doing, you sort of realize like, oh, like the most fun he has is going out and beating on the 350Z with Matt and Taylor. So for me, I don't see him being as bad for the drift scene at all. There's also a recent one of his videos, I think this week. Yeah, I watch every video, so EG doesn't. Um, he
You got
did
more time than I do, I think, at the moment.
he watched a video this week, and it was like around the time that I don't know if you've seen that he'd ordered a Porsche GT3 RS start of last year, and he only just got to pick it up now, so it's been almost a full year since he bought that car, uh, and he ended up showing a video of a previous video, and he just sort of listened to himself, and he's like, God, I sounded like a dickhead, sort of like type comment, like being like he was that new car guy who just, said things for the sake of thinking that he's saying the right thing and then realized like, oh shit, like back then I had no idea what the hell I was talking about. So, um, it's good to see somebody growing. Um, you get messages from Steve. Um,
Am I?
Steve, stop interrupting the show. Piss off, mate. Um, and
I don't think he's listening.
yeah, probably not. And uh, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I think if you watch it and go back and look at it and then see him develop, I think too many people watched him early and then stopped watching and then didn't follow through with watching him. So uh, yeah, uh, yeah. Ben says he fully agrees, and I think this year for Adam, I think hey, your background dude's been rude, mate. We're gonna get demonetized. Um,
Like, I think you have to say stuff,
so
particular things.
yeah, and I think this year his plan is to drive Pro-Am in the S15, and one of his mates, Matt the Gins, is building, for anybody who follows YouTube drifters, is building a competition uh, is building a competition 350, and I think they're going to run the same Pro-Am series together. So it's funny because like, and I think that's where bits and pieces of a lot of the comp series start to work is people want to go and do it because their mates are doing it and they go and do it as a group. So uh, you sort of look at him and people want to compare him to some of the other YouTube guys who are sort of spoiled rich kid type situations and don't have a huge network of close friends and stuff like that. But the more I watch Adam's videos, the more you realize how tight knit he is with the people around him, and it, he just yeah sort of loves being around the people that he's with more than the fact that he can make a living out of it, especially now that he's gotten rid of his wife. So,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's um, partly to do with that privilege thing. Because I think if you were in a different situation to begin with, you probably didn't have that opportunity. So, I mean, that's something that people might be upset about.
yeah, I think it's just a personality. Yeah, maybe, but I think it's a personality type too. Um, but
But
I
then, from what I heard, he had the BMX videos and things, and that sort of
but then
following. So he just sort of built on that when he
yeah,
changed over to cars.
yeah, but I
So
like sometimes I watch guys play video games on YouTube or on social media or whatever, and dudes will do it for a little while and then disappear for a couple of weeks and then come back to it, and it's purely because they're sick of doing what they were doing. Like, you can't play the same video game or do the same sport with that high amount of passion to try and make a living out of it, and then still enjoy doing it, and then have to give it 24 hours a day. Um, and I think Adam's been lucky with the fact that he's been able to build such a huge network of friends through cars that's the reason to still do the car thing. I'm sure that's part of the reason that EG's sort of stuck with the car thing for so long. It's part of the reason that I stupidly think that I should put cars back together and try and get out and drive as much as possible, because it's just an excuse to hang out with friends. Just lucky for us, we're not, or lucky for us, unlucky for us. Depends which way you look at it. We're not making money out of it, so if we want to take a step back from it, we can. But somebody like him doesn't get to take a step back, because if he stops making money, and all that cool shit goes away. So it's not as simple as that.
I don't think is that you have plans. Like, he definitely seems like the type of person that'll have
He didn't.
other.
He, he didn't. He didn't early. Like even in the last 12 months, it's changed. Like him stressing about how he's going to make the next thing sort of happen, and then today a 45-minute video of they turbocharged his mum's Pontiac Solstice. Like he literally went and took his mum's car. His mum didn't even know about it, and they bought a turbocharged, a bolt-on kit
Yeah, but
to
that's
make
for
content.
video, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's like similar thing to, like I think to Colin Furs as well, because he started off with all those really cool videos, and I think he got responsible, and his new content is, I'm not gonna say bland, but it's not as exciting as it used to be.
Yeah, but that's all personal too, depending on what you like and what other people like. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
Ben's from Tassie. I'm pretty sure I've met him before. I'm sure I've met you before when I was down at DCA. Um, yeah, and he's making the trip up from Tassie to Queensland, and I know there's a lot of guys doing it. I know Jackson Snell's making that trip. Logan Waterhouse is making the trip from Sydney up to that. Uh, I'm a big fan, but I'm not that big a fan that I feel like I need to be there type thing. I can't wait for the content from here to come out, but that makes it more exciting for me to be able to watch the content than being part of it and then see what content comes out of it. That's just my personal take on it. And the fact that I know Archie can be tight, and I know that place is going to be fucking packed. Yeah, it is going to be crazy there. So, I'm not a nightclub type person, big crowds in small space type person, so that's not my idea of fun. So that's why I sort of, yeah. But look, I hope it goes off crazy. I hope he makes a crap load of content. I hope he's pumped as shit, because if it's easy for him to go somewhere and make content, guess what? He goes back. So, I'm sure it'll be good. Connor Connor wanted to take his car up just to get on a big channel. You special boy.
Yeah, but I think that's another thing you can do.
Yeah,
he's got such a big following. If you can sort of latch on, because I think that's how some other people that have appeared on his channel have.
Well, no,
increased their followers.
Well, but he's encouraged those guys to go and do that too, though. Like he helped build that network of guys. Like, Matt the Ginge, who's one of their better drivers in their group, has only just started a channel, and he's been on the show, like on the show, like on the channel for a long time, and appearing in two of the guys' channels, and he's used that to leverage. That sort of content needs to come from a group, because I'll watch a couple of them, and I'll basically watch the same content from the in-car from two different cars and waste 40 minutes of a day, because I've watched two 20-minute videos of the same event, of the same guys tandeming with each other, but just from two different perspectives. But they're saying your microphone is scratchy or something, AG, which is kind of.
Does it come out like that?
Only when I think you bump your micro. I think you've been bumping your boom.
It's probably the fan.
No, I can't hear it. I think it's just you bumping your boom. So, okay. Yeah, I think guys like your Adam LZs and stuff are great for the scene.
Yep.
Even better for the scene is guys like your Mark Martins. He's got a new vlog up from Drift Fest, so go find the old dude from South Australia, and he's posted in the comments here. his vlog from down there. I know he had a rough weekend from that, from what I followed on social media. Blew a clutch, changed a clutch.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else. The South Australians are known for.
Meth?
No, partying.
Sorry, my bad. My bad. I don't know what I'm talking about.
They're gonna come and bash you soon now.
Yeah, probably. That's all right. I'll send everybody my address. Make it swift and quick. Yeah. So to me, all that social media stuff is good, and guys like Adam are good for the scene because it just you get to see the change in attitude towards things. So no, it's been good.
Yeah. It's what's cool is seeing his progression because when I first watched him, I don't know when I sort of came back to watch him sort of towards the end of last year, he was so much better. And I think he'd skilled up so much quicker than a lot of people. But that's of course because he's done so much driving, and he's been supported to do so much driving as well.
But I guess there's all those YouTube statistic shit or whatever. I've never looked at to see what he's earning because honestly, I couldn't really give two shits what the guy's earning. I'm not gonna judge him if he's making 100,000 from a video or whatever. But
I don't think he's making much from there
but
because I'm pretty sure his earnings are from merchandise and
yeah, well, yeah, exactly, and I don't think he's retardedly comfortable. Yeah, he just bought a Porsche GT3 RS and all that sort of stuff. But oh, Jake Jones is on. More YouTube people.
Jake.
But yeah, but then going and buying a Porsche to create content is a very expensive venture, and that's a business venture. It's not just because he's going to spend money on crap. He would have gone, I need to be able to turn this into making some form of money from it. Where most of us would be like, I'm rich as fuck. Let's go and let's just go and spend money on crap. So I think that's where people get caught up in some of that. And yeah, but
I think people get annoyed because they can't. They think if they can get the same thing, then they can create videos and create content and create a following, and then snowball from there. But really, it's I think he's already done the work beforehand, and his content is interesting to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could look at the video, and he pretty much does what everyone else does. He gets a car, does some mods on it, puts it up, gets 300,000 views, and everyone goes, I can do that. But I think there's a lot of things like he would edit it. He knows how to talk as well to make it interesting. What people will be interested in he cuts out the crap, and he makes the videos so people that can't do it can experience it through him.
Well, 100%. That's why people watch other people play video games, because they'll watch people who are good at the game because they'll never be as good as that person at the game, and they can live through that person winning.
They can be good at the game.
No, but not the hours it takes to invest that some of these kids are spending on these games like your Fortnites and all that to be good.
Yeah.
And then to win. Like, that's why people watch that sort of thing. We're getting smashed with like messages. Yeah. So that's the way I look at it.
I think it's achievable because I saw something recently about.
It's more achievable from the States because living is cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, you can live cheaply here
and create that sort of content, and then go drifting as often as they are able.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like it's things are more accessible there. It seems. I'm just gonna say it seems because I haven't lived there. I know you have, but
and then things are more of a novelty there. Building a 33 Skyline for an Australian channel that's only going to an Australian audience is not that interesting. But all the Americans love that shit because it's a novelty.
Yeah. So there's that. Also, I think there's a lot more backing and even like percentages. Like it's like if say like, because Australia's got 28 million people
No, like
now.
25 or something.
25 million.
Yeah,
That was
something.
high. Anyway,
Nah, we're still pretty
and the
small.
States is like 320 million people. So even if, like, you look at it as a percentage, if only say 10% support um, motoring interest, then that's still such a huge amount compared to Australia. Like, you can sort of spread the money around. That's supporting that industry.
24.6, and then I'm pretty sure Adam has close to 3 million people subscribed. 2.3 million subscribers. He almost has 10% of our country, if it was just our country viewing him, subscribed to his channel.
Yeah,
His
that's
video that went up
crazy.
his video that went up 13 hours ago has 267,000 views. Like that's more than some of our news channel like some of our news channels will have as a nightly view and things like that. Like that's why these people get companies coming on board and doing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, anybody who gets butthurt by that needs to get a fucking life. Just plain and simple, simple as that.
or
Simple.
work harder.
Yeah, I just I know I don't think Jake's still there. I think he came in and left. Um, but I think he's the only guy in Australia, or him and Jacob Peck, working as hard as they are to try and um, create content to be able to make it a thing in Australia. Everybody else sort of does their bits and pieces. And DJ, one of the guys over in WA, does a bunch of stuff. But they're, for me, the three guys that I've seen. I watch a lot of stuff that are pushing their stuff to be that similar sort of level to the sort of thing that guys like him are doing. And oh, he's still here. And no, I'm just not trying to beat you off. But those like you watch an Adam LZ video or a Jake Jones video or whatever, and they're doing stuff till stupid o'clock. I think Adams is way more stupid o'clock than anybody else, but I just it'd be funny for some of these guys to put timestamps at the bottom of their their videos, and then people realize how long that shit takes, and then what time the video started being edited at, and what time it was finished at, and then see how many hours and how many people think that that's worth the payoff, if you get what I mean.
I get what you mean. I think they get better because they have more experience, so they film. They know which bits to film. But I think maybe not those guys particular, but the guys that are starting, and then
But
will
it's
get
not.
to the gain to that level.
But
Like
to,
you,
but to
you have
start,
to.
you've got to start almost as a kid and be living at home and being able to live off nothing. Like to do it now. Like it's not. I've watched a lot of this shit, and when I thought about it, and then you look at it, and then you think about it, and then you go back and look at it, and the amount of effort and stuff that goes in to then get to that point where you're able to make money from it is a huge step.
Yeah.
Like enormous.
Yeah.
Again, unless you're able to attract sponsors or whatever to pay for the channel in its early days because they see merit in it. But if you're
No, I
trying,
don't think that happened.
but if you're trying to, no, but you could package it, right? Like for somebody like Jake, he can package his like competitive drift program with his channel. I am selling you that I am doing XYZ series. I'm doing blah blah blah. I can already prove to you that I put out these videos, blah blah blah. You will come on board and be part of my video packages too. Not just be a sticker on the side of my car or whatever. You're more sellable at that point because you've just got more to show. Um, oh,
Of
I forgot.
course, yeah, but that's the same with like promotion and sponsors. Like
Uh, well, I
you don't
just
want someone to.
before you go too far, before
Yeah.
like I shoot myself in the foot. Troy Lipshinsky as well, who's been on our show before and is, um, yeah, close to one of the guys that we know and love through DCA. So continue, EG.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people creating stuff. I forgot what I was going to say now, but that's all
You're
right.
talking about promoters and blah blah
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things that I disagree with is people just going on to like a for sale Facebook group and say, "Hey, looking for sponsors," and then I don't even know who they are. How and then they do it often, as well. And sometimes they do manage to score a sponsor because they've winged it somehow, and then they've provided nothing back. They've taken their money, they've done
Yeah, but that's in it.
whatever. Maybe they've pulled pulled out halfway through the season, saying, "Oh, I broke a gearbox and I can't afford another one, so that's it." And then all that money that the guy's given him,
But
doesn't last them the year.
yeah, but
And
they're all more reluctant to do that.
yeah,
Jake Amara said difference between Jake and Adam though is Adam's doing it as his job. Jake is doing it after hours. It would be a lot harder for Jake, I think. But Jake isn't trying to live off, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like when you're trying to go in uh, deep with that sort of thing and make it your livelihood. Um,
I think
yeah.
he wants. To. I
Well, no,
think he
no,
just
no, no, no. Like from what I understand from
and
his video, that's the
compete.
plan.
And,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But he's doing it in in baby steps and in true baby steps by making sure that he's still employed, still making money outside of it, so he has the money to be able to continue doing what he's able to do, rather than going in fully deep, throwing away basically any chance of a life outside of it if it doesn't pay off. At least until the program is properly established. And physically, yeah, I think Jake cops it worse, um, for sure, because he's doing it after hours, doing it all that sort of stuff. But for somebody like Adam, you would stress every day that if the channel starts to go down the shit, you've lost everything.
yeah.
and
Well,
we
that's why
like,
he mentioned in a podcast that if he doesn't put up a video every day, then he has issues with the next video he puts up. I think it lowers like the views, the total views is a lot lower than if he kept consistently putting up a video every day.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So Jake has said in the comments, for anybody who listens to this after or on Facebook, or watches it on YouTube, or rips it into an MP3. Jake said, for instance, in the last year I made 100 videos. On average, each video took me 4 hours to edit. That's not capturing the content or taking the time to film during working on the cars. So that's 400 hours outside of working 40 hours a week, as a daily job, working on the car, trying to chase sponsors with a lot of hours, and a lot of no's, uh, you know, plus just life in general. Uh, and then I'm paraphrasing here, by the way, so shit, people don't get upset, please. I'm not whinging. I'm simply enjoying what I'm doing, without sounding stupid. I enjoy looking back on the stuff that I've done, especially the silly crap I've done in China. Uh, yeah, that, and that's it. Like, um, I look at what the guys in FD are doing, and Jake for me is Jake and Troy are probably the two smartest guys in drifting when it's coming to trying to make their program uh, marketable, and trying to make it self-sustaining. It might not ever become self-sustaining, but to me, they're guys who are trying to live off drifting if they can make that happen, and that's what guys in the States are doing. Um, and I know guys over in Europe too. You make your content. You either have a workshop, that builds other cars, like your Matt Field type person, who how he makes his FT program work is he's now managing this season of FT. He's going to be managing three cars, his own car, his old car with another driver under it, who'll be paying him, I'm sure, for support, but using sponsors to help pay for that. And then this Brazilian guy who's probably, again, I'm saying probably, I'm not sure, but I'm imagining he's got money and backing from Brazil to go and do what he's doing. So he's able to make his living off Formula Drift, and that's what a Chris Forsberg did, a Vaughn Gittin Jr. did. But those guys' programs started at a different time period when they were able to get in with those sort of sponsors, and they're just long-term sponsors. And um, if anybody who's in the
yeah,
community group and watched those videos from the dummy grid that I shared, you build those relationships. Other people come on board because they see bigger companies on and they want to be part of it. Where guys like Jake have come through, I guess, tried to invigorate things a little bit after that. And you've got to do it differently. And if you want to do it, people will support you if you're giving them the ability to live through you. And that's when people start throwing money at you. Like, and that's why there's. I don't think. I think a lot of the dudes who are in drifting now have been around a while and are a little bit older who listen to this, and there are people making money from doing the dumbest shit on the internet because people live through those people and like pay stupid money to people like some girl with like fucking kitten ears or some shit, like pouring egg yolks on herself on her Patreon channel and shit like that. Like, it's just there's just some shit out there. So guys doing like proper professional content, doing something cool that's like sort of more genuine, with the right program, people might throw some money behind it. But yeah, human beings are retarded and just spend money on shit sometimes. So isn't that what the whole company of Wish is based around?
Wish.
Yeah, that one where you just buy cheap
Oh
crap.
yeah, one like he's come up on Facebook and everything else.
Yeah, have you
Where
never
they
looked at it?
say it was like $200 and it's like 70% off at
Yeah, like
whatever it's
yeah, people.
$60.
Yeah, people just spend money on crap. Um, and then and the videos that people watch too are just some of the crappiest ones. Um, Harry's just said Harry's Logan's younger brother uh, has just said Orion, who used to be part of Hager Garage, he's like his biggest views on videos are the dumb shit, like where he makes a tire out of zip ties, or fills a tire with concrete, or tries to run an engine on olive oil, or um, because people are just like, oh yeah, let's watch this, and that's their biggest views on stuff because they just want to see people do dumb shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, so me and EG need to do more dumb shit to keep uh, this stuff going. Yeah, Jake, I'm aware that they sponsor Matt Field. That's sort of why it was at the forefront of my mind. Um,
The other thing that got us more viewers.
um, oh yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I think
Our
people.
honest view on the Patreon thing. This is from Jake Jones. What's our honest view on Patreon? Um, I so I watch all sorts of shit on the internet because I have free time in the middle of the day between sessions of working, or when I'm working in the garage. Just have YouTube going. Uh, Patreon is a very clever system, but you're lining the pocket of a massive business now. Um, but it's a great way for people to secure, like, to be able to help in a simple way, thinking that they're able to help. Um, what one of the guys that I've watched on YouTube has started um, like a mug club type thing where you sign up to you you pay directly through his store to buy a mug and then you get content. So basically, like you bypass uh, Patreon because of course they take fees. It's the same as GoFundMe and all that sort of stuff. They take a percentage of whatever people have offered. I think you did something like that, Jake, where you offered like a membership type system. For me, that's the go. That's to me what you should be pushing and continue to push that membership because you're bypassing somebody taking a cut of the money that you'll be getting and the fact that you're already getting not very much. To lose 20% of a couple of $100 or a couple of $1,000 is a fuckload of money to lose. Or even if it's 5% or whatever, when you're talking in small denominations, that's a lot of money down. Like that's a lot of that money gone. So for me, the membership type stuff is the type of stuff that you should be going for, where you're encouraging people to buy your merch because we know that there's markups on merch and stuff like that, and if you can be getting large quantities of merch at a good price, and that's um, how you secure people to help pay. The monthly pay stuff through Patreon and all that. Yeah, look, if people are willing to do it, then it's a go. But if there's a system that you can put in place to bypass somebody taking a cut of your money, fuck them, cut them out. Um, like, really, like, cut them out. So I would be cutting them out.
Yeah, but what happens if like if everyone's sort of go-to thing is I'll go to Patreon, I'll search for him, and then I'll support him that way because it's easy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But but that's because
I've never really used Patreon before. I see it all
yeah,
the time, but
yeah,
I've
I've never
never
actually,
really gone onto
I've
it.
never gone super deep. I know what the maximum drift cast guys sort of offer with their stuff, and they offer extra content and all this sort of stuff. But it's also hard when you, for somebody like Jake, for example, who's working another job, if you're trying to offer extra stuff to people that is outside the realm of reality, like the time that you just have in a week, where um, for someone like Jake, if or someone like us, I guess we could be like, hey, we're gonna offer you pay X amount to be a member, and then at some point during the year we're gonna have a ride day on Figure Eight. Everybody who's paid a membership of over X amount gets to come out to our ride day, and we're going to take you out for a few laps. And that's a real thing that we could make happen. Because we could rent the Figure Eight for X amount of money. It's only going to cost us X amount to get out on track. We get to drive and enjoy ourselves, so it's a win-win for us either way. And then we get the support of the extra support that we need to keep things going. Um, we haven't thought that far ahead of actually making anything like that actually happen yet.
No,
Um,
no.
but us sitting back and being like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to offer our members and Patreons all this extra content, um, e.g. slander videos. He'll probably make those ones. That's okay. He'll show up to events and just talk shit, so that one will probably work. But if it's like extra stuff like e.g. working on his car this week, or Greg doing XYZ um, with uh, with his car. I haven't touched my car in like 2 months. It's sitting in down the back, not working, and I couldn't give two flying fucks about it, to be honest. Um, so to offer extra content like that is just not a reality. But if you can put together a proper package of things that you're going to be able to offer, and I think that's what Jake did. I'm pretty sure last year, if I remember correctly, he had a membership thing for the year and was offering different things. I think that's honestly the way to go, and you're not sending money to these dudes sitting around making money off guys for nothing. And I also don't think, to me, if anybody's taking money from you, they need to have something to offer. So if I'm giving, so Jake Jones is on, is now on Patreon. This is hypothetical. People relax. Um, Jake Jones is now um, on Patreon. I'm a big Jake Jones fan. You know what? I want to support him. I'm gonna give him, he's got his levels of membership. I'm gonna go to the highest level of membership. I'm gonna give him some money. Patreon then takes a percentage of that money, pays him the rest. But what does Patreon, and then Jake gives me the content back, or whatever his promise is to me. So Jake is giving me something, I'm giving Jake something. What does Patreon give Jake other than a transaction fee? There's no marketing.
Well,
Do you go to Patreon and go and look for creators and all that sort of stuff? Or do you go to YouTube and Instagram and Facebook?
yeah, and then you search if they've
Yeah.
got Patreon links there. Yeah,
Yeah. They're not
yeah.
offering anything. If you had to
It's
pay,
it's
if you had
pretty
to,
much just a service that Patreon
yeah,
offered to
yeah,
the
and
person that they're making money off.
and a service that you can bypass, where if you're paying for YouTube, not paying for YouTube ads, if you're paying for Facebook ads or Instagram to get higher reach, then you get genuine higher reach because of it. Some of it sometimes I think
Yeah,
is a bit fake, but you can do the
but
free option, or it can help you gain reach. So what I'm saying though is that money is going somewhere for the person who's spending the money to, um, you know, to go somewhere. But and they're being provided a service. Like I pay X amount, I get X amount of. I'm supposed to get X amount of reach. Where something like a Patreon is like, I haven't looked at it that closely, but it's not my go-to like
Yeah. Well, the way I see Patreon is people. It's almost like pay to play. It's easy for people to do, like to click, 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 and then they've given them some money and they feel better for it. Like it's if you have to go through so many hoops, then I think people will give up. It's just
But
they're
is it?
used to it and they know what to do.
Yeah, but even Luke's just said, come on and said like Facebook has a donate section now.
Yeah, it does
Um,
now.
yeah. I wonder if they. I'm not sure if they take a percentage or not. And that donation stuff, I don't know how much it is of. Sorry, I'm just looking at Patreon. There's a explore creators. You click it, and then you don't see shit. So, yeah, I don't know. To me, if you can bypass it, like doing the membership thing, that to me is the way to go with that sort of system. And at least then you see 100% of the money um, that people are wanting
Someone's
to
trying to give
donate.
you. Yeah, that's right.
So, and yeah, I think it makes it easier when it comes to certain things. But I think you've got to be, to me, when you're a startup with not a huge amount,
Yeah, I don't think you can get on Patreon that easy. I wonder how much fees are imposed on those people that try to start an account. Like, because I think they don't want to.
I don't think they care.
Those people just create an account, and then I guess it's in their own interest if they want to make money off it.
Guess what Patreon takes?
10%.
5%, no matter what.
Yeah. Okay.
And then through various fees and stuff, lose between 7 to 15% of their earnings.
Well.
Yeah.
So
That's a good business model.
I'm guessing if you
All right.
if you don't actually get that much money, then you'll be in the 15%,
Yeah.
as opposed to someone who earns a lot on there, then that'd be like close to 7%.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're gonna stop doing Clutch Kick, and we're gonna start up a Patreon style page. And we're just
Wouldn't
gonna
Twitch be better?
I don't know, we're just gonna make money off people. We don't make content anymore. We'll just get people to pay through us, and then
Yes. So
Yeah.
we set up the server,
Yeah.
and then I mean the service, and then it doesn't really and then everyone has to come through us to do it.
Yeah.
And I will make the max fees 4%.
Yeah, just under.
Just under.
Yeah, we'll
I'll undercut it by a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And considering Patreon's not a search engine like a YouTube or whatever is,
You don't need to advertise anything.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Done. Perfect. Your business plan. Hey, EG, I know you wanted to change jobs. There you go. That's where you're starting. You're good at programming and stuff like that, right?
I'm not. No. I've been trying to work on this application for DCA to help us with judging, and I've not gotten very far at all.
Mate, we don't get far with much. Mark Martin's just said that there's an Aussie couple sailing around the world. They make around 12 grand from each vlog through Patreon alone. But that's a really broad thing. Like, now that you've said it, I kind of want to go look these people up because I think it's pretty cool to go and do. And it's like, that's something that anybody could be interested in because I think it's human nature is exploration sort of thing. So.
Yeah, but that's like a lot of crazy videos. Like you wouldn't think there'd be. There's a channel out there that I saw is all about people racing Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels cars. So they have a track, and then they have a race, and they've got like millions of viewers, and it's just.
But why is that? Who's watching those videos?
I have no idea, but I don't know how they've got.
Who's watching those? Who's watching those videos?
You better tell me because I don't know why you'd want to watch.
Come on. What is the biggest population of people sitting around with iPads?
Grandmas?
No, children. They're goddamn kids watching it. That's why that stuff is interesting, because they're little kids sitting there and watching it.
But they can't need to pay.
What's that?
Oh, what they watch it
YouTube. Yeah, it's just yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I get the ad revenue.
yeah, like as simple
Okay.
as that. And Connor's like me.
Yeah, it's crazy how much like how ordinary things have so many views.
Matty Hill's coming. What? Matty, why you keep saying my name? Get out of the comments, mate. Yes, we're aware that you're here, mate. Matty Hill from
Mention.
last week. Go back and watch that video, people, because just go
He's
back
got
and watch
these
it.
new vlog.
Wow,
This
you.
has been posted, I
Oh
think,
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. His new vlog came up. So, um, the other thing to get people to view a channel is just do one how-to video, but a how-to video that a whole bunch of people are going to watch. Is how you drive
Yeah.
traffic to that. Because they say that YouTube's the second biggest search engine behind Google. So if you do something as stupid as how to change a wheel, not a tire, a wheel, and it can be as boring as that, I can guarantee that's probably one of the biggest searches or something like that. Just basic searches that get a lot of views, and that's the shit that gets people to view your stuff.
A guy I know did that. It was um, how to unplug something on, I don't know, like a Honda Accord or like a Mazda something or other. Apparently the plug is it's not straightforward with like a clip. You have to squeeze both sides, and because I think one side's not visible, you just don't know. And so the guy shows you have to squeeze both sides of it and then pull, and then I think he's got over 100,000 views just because of that how-to video. And
Yeah.
I think it's a minute video, and that's it.
Yeah, well, Matty Hills just said his video is going to be how to 100%.
100%.
Just how to
What does that mean?
100%. I don't know,
So
but
if you want to do something 100%,
hey,
how to
no,
drink?
do you know how to
No.
do you know how to 100%? Watch Matty Hills how to
I
100%
don't know how to
video.
100%. No. Okay.
That's it. So
What if I only want to? He needs to make a video of if I only do 50%.
no, you're just being too picky. Fuck off, mate. I've just got us demonetized from our 3 views.
I'm surprised how many people are viewing today on
Yeah,
Facebook.
see, biggest clickbait as the title.
Biggest clickbait.
You weren't,
I hate clickbait.
you
I
weren't,
hate clickbait.
you weren't, you
I remember
weren't,
because
you weren't sold
yeah.
on the name, but
No, because I knew you were trying. Yeah, I know. And then I'm so against that. I freaking hate clickbait. And sometimes I see the title and I go, no, I'm not clicking on that. But look at it. It's gone up one again.
yeah, that's good. I'm still not sure. I'm still not sold on this format. Yeah, so that's sort of what we were talking about before the show too. We were like, I said, is it really like, are we doing this the right way? Is our shit just too long? Like, are we trying to do it too often? Should we just cut it down to, um, 20-minute little snippets? Catch up with a Matty Hill after a weekend like he's about to have, and after he wins D1NZ this weekend, get him back on and have just a 20-minute chat, and then go and do that sort of thing, because people uh, just have shorter attention spans. So
Maybe.
the live
But
the,
I think,
the live thing works while everybody's live and he's on here chatting.
yeah.
But then it's have you ever
I think
listened?
we have to keep it live.
Did you
Yeah.
listen to? Have you listened to any of? Yeah, mate. We'll interview people interesting, Luke, like yourself, but you go cheat on us with other fucking podcasts. So
Podcast.
yeah, that's what I got for you, mate. Um,
Yeah, you were saying?
yeah, people that can't talk and make a shit interview. Well, we don't know. Mate, shorter the better. Matty, you fucking spoke for hours last week. That's your fault. Um, I was like the arguments in the comments. That's good.
But it's also entertaining, I think, when we have arguments.
Yeah, but have you listened to Rusty's Garage at all? Do you even know what that is?
No, I don't know what that is.
So Greg Rust, the motorsports commentator. No. Yes. No.
No,
Nah.
if that's V8s, man, I haven't watched
Nah.
V8s in
No, he's
years.
been around for
Not
he's
V8s.
been around for a long time.
No, okay.
Um, and Mark Martin goes in the comments. I don't know. He's going for clickbait himself. There's this old guy who does vlogs called Old Taxi Drift Guy. Do not check it out. It's shit.
Check it out. Yeah, it's the worst. The
Um,
worst thing. You're not gonna find worse content than that. So don't check it
yeah.
out.
So back to my point. And Andrew Collins has agreed with me on this. So Rusty does these like they're really formal podcasts. They're just one-on-one sit-down interviews. I think they go for anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour-ish. I listen to a bunch of them because I follow V8 supercars and stuff as well when I've done some of my long drives. And they're just super professional, like laid out, proper one-on-one style interviews. And that sort of stuff is, yeah, that stuff is good. Like that's interesting and it's more to the point. Uh, and yeah, that's the sort of stuff that I sit down and can listen to for 40 minutes. Some of this shit, unless you're listening to it live, you switch this shit off because like this stuff's pretty pretty all over the place sometimes. I think when you've got guys like Stewie and that, you sort of get into it, but yeah, most people
It's
aren't
because
going
they
to get
bring
back.
so much energy, and
Yeah,
then like
but
Stu is so passionate about drifting,
yeah, and
so passionate. Yeah.
and I think an episode like last week's one, you know, fans of Maddie's will sit down and listen to a whole episode and stuff like that. But for people who haven't caught it live, um, unless they are doing something like I know Jackson listens to us sometimes because he's always in a truck doing long drives. But we lose a lot of that audience because not even I would sit down and listen to our stuff that's this long. I'm a short attention span person. I watch 20-minute YouTube videos and watch 18 of them in a day, but tell me to watch something that's the length of 18 20-minute YouTube videos, and I won't sit there and watch it. I don't even watch goddamn movies because they're too long, but then I'll binge watch a series of TV shows.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm usually doing two things if I'm watching a show or TV series, but usually I'll only listen to podcasts on long drives.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
So I won't listen. I won't listen to it to and from work. I would want to be going somewhere like like when I go to Queensland or South Australia, I line up a whole bunch of podcasts to listen to on the way.
Yeah,
And
but that doesn't make something like this necessarily worthwhile or sustainable
yeah,
because that's the attitude of I would say the majority, and that's why I question whether or not we need to go for a format change.
I wouldn't go live.
I don't think having the
I
live
don't know.
thing.
Wouldn't stop. I wouldn't stop being live. That's one of the things. But the length is. I think it should be natural, but it's really hard because
But it's natural to the conversation, but that doesn't
yeah,
necessarily give the viewer.
yeah. So I don't want a time limit, so it'd be like, okay, we're only doing this show for an hour, and then bam, because then you could be
Oh,
like a really good role, and it's just like, oh, it's an hour. It's just like, no.
nah, not a full cutoff like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Matty Hill reckons we should do a figure skate video. There's actually a few of them online. But I charge too much money for that, so I ain't doing that shit for free. That's how I make a living. So I talk shit for free.
Just tell them
Learning
half
curves.
the lesson, and then and then if they want the other
Skip,
half, they have
you,
to come see.
you skip out every second word, and you got to join the Patreon account to get the rest of the words.
Okay. Um,
Yeah. So I don't know. EG's stubborn. He's old and he likes things the way.
I don't like change.
No, you don't. You sound like most of the Australian drift scene.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think about it some weeks and I'm like, fuck, it's Wednesday night again. And if
Really?
lately lately I have been. Last year I was like
I get annoyed because
last year I
when
was on the pump. I was like all pumped last year, but I think since the car got stolen and since just I had all those car dramas last year and then got taken, a little part of me like the drift heart broke a little bit.
yeah, you'll I know what you mean, but yeah, I look forward to doing this. It's
No, no,
fun.
I like the freedom to talk shit, but then
But yeah,
the social
sometimes.
pressure that comes with it from people thinking that it needs to be gospel or it needs to be correct or it needs to be whatever
Oh yeah,
when it's literally we like it's just our weekly catch up and we live stream it and then let people have a bit of an opinion on it. Um, like that's yeah, I think that's where I've got to go back to and yeah, just keep it more light in the weeks we don't have people. Just keep it light like that and just. But then getting threatened to be bashed by people at drift events for you isn't great fun either because we do this sort of shit. So, um,
yeah, I know. And
um,
you as well. And it's not just me. It's like it's people that are friends with me as well. They get threatened to get bashed.
yeah, like because of an opinion, like
Yeah,
shit, like with like people have opinions, but a common goal.
yeah.
Your opinion can be different, but your common goal can be the same. And I think too many people don't get that. So,
Anyway, back to the format. I
um,
like I liked your idea, the suggestion about maybe adding another host. But the only
yeah,
issue is, I think we have audio. We should like just having another person there as well as a guest. I think we're gonna have problems with audio because we're not together. I think if we're all sitting down together as hosts, then it might work because it'd only be like one to one, so it'd be like a phone conversation. But when there's like an additional one, because we're already talking to each other from different states, and then you add another person, I think we start to have problems with um, audio. Like we get lag and we get like funny things.
yeah.
It'd be nice if we could get together as a panel of hosts
Well,
and then.
yeah, but let's not talk about things that this is like you sound like Blake now. Talking about things that at this stage are not going to happen. Um,
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
an idea. I'm not.
but we need somebody
It's not
interesting. Like Steve's not interesting.
Steve. Who's Steve?
Yeah, exactly. I thought he was still watching. That's a shame. Um, yeah.
Oh, there's lots
If anybody
of people
wants to
on there.
jump on board, don't be super offended if we like. Um, again. Um, can you read? We'll read
Yeah,
that
just
comment out in a second.
okay.
Look, if there's people who are genuinely interested um, in joining, helping with this thing, like we don't make any money from it. Like if you want to help, and then don't be offended if we don't really want you. People have offered us help in the past, and we've sort of turned them down because they're not people that we feel like have the same are in sort of the same mind space as us. I don't even think me and EG are necessarily on the same page with a lot of things, but I think we respect each other's viewpoint on things and are open-minded to other people's viewpoints. Except for EG sometimes, like he is old. Um, so yeah, yeah. We were talking about that. So Matty Hill in the comments said like, have you asked for an area like trying to get more involved at live drift events and stuff like that. We were talking about that earlier, and I did the video from World Time Attack, where I was videoing up on the hill during practice, and I think you and your brother watched that, or I know at least your brother did, just to see the runs and stuff. And I talked through it a little bit, and I got a few messages from people being like, "Oh, what you have to say is really good." And then a couple of drivers, when I went down, actually, thanked me for putting it up, and you know, actually liked my feedback and stuff like that. And then I had also copped in the comments um, from certain people, haha, this dickhead doesn't know what he's talking about, all that sort of stuff. And these are people who are in the drift scene, not just random people, um, just wanting to be fuckwits about it. And that may or may not have been the same person who threatened to bash EG at a drift event. So, um, like, it's just, yeah, it's some of that stuff that if the drift event is the right drift event, so say it was a DCA event, I think EG and I would be more than happy to do that sort of thing. And EG did it for DCA, did the pit walk stuff. Still needs EG still needs some media training, but that was also a year ago, and I think we're only one or two videos in at that stage. So you doing a live stream for DCA now, I think would be very different to what you had done at Mount Gambier.
I don't.
Um,
Maybe a little bit. I might stumble a lot less, but I don't feel like I've changed very much.
you'd be surprised. Um, and yeah, other series, honestly, we're not that interested in helping. There are a few guys who see value in what we do, who go and drive in other stuff, and then guys, if we're going down to like a South Australia and stuff like that, but uh, yeah, it would be interesting at some of the bigger events, or if we were just to make a random trip or whatever. But again, that's all stuff that sort of costs money or whatever. And for us, it's about supporting the people who sort of support us more um, than it is about us going and trying to feel like we have self-worth somewhere, I guess. So um, yeah, long term it would be great to do what Maddie suggested. I think that's what EG's original sort of intention with this sort of thing was hoping that long term it would turn into something like that if drifting was to sort of stick around and become more mainstream again or whatever within Australia. But other than that, it was to try and instill some values and some ideas, and I think just even to challenge the ideas. I've been listening to some other Aussie content and stuff like that, and man, we're just so politically correct about things, and like nobody shit stinks, and like it's so everything's perfect, and the roses over here are just so divine. Um, but it's like, you know what? Everybody's got flaws. This show has goddamn flaws. Man, we can't get our shit together to get a fucking interview most weeks. So like,
I know.
but like we're happy to admit that sort of thing. But yeah, so yeah, we don't think our shit don't stink, because fucking our shit stinks. Um, so yeah. See, look, we've lost our clickbait now. We've lost like 10 people.
Oh,
See, it's all about the clickbait titles, mate.
yeah, I know. And
So,
the prime viewing time's over as well, especially for our audience.
um, yeah, Andrew said grab some clips from YouTube and discuss some runs and battles from other countries. We were trying to the idea of this whole thing was to try and do as Aussie based as possible, to try and
Yeah,
give Aussies a bit of a name and a platform and all that sort of stuff. Um, like that really was the idea behind.
it's to help promote them, and they can gain some experience, we can gain some experience, and we could sort of grow something.
But even just give the guys a chance to get comfortable with chatting. I suggested to um, a series within Australia that it would be a good idea to get some media training for people going, and got shown this pretty much, and was told if drivers want to do stuff, they need to go and do it themselves. And when I suggested it, I talked about drivers helping fund it. Like they just organize it. You pay um, you pay a fee for the night. Like they organize somebody to come in and do some media
Yep,
training, and you pay a fee or whatever. Um, and I basically got shown the middle finger, and was told drivers should sort that sort of shit themselves out. Where
that's
when
such a dumb idea
yeah
because like
when
a promoter should
yeah.
take that idea and because it's promoting their own event, like they're
And the only
getting
reason I spoke about that was because leading into Olympics for me, we went through media training, because the Australian Olympic Committee doesn't know who the who the media is going to want to speak to. The Australian Olympic Committee can't stop the media getting interested in certain athletes and then wanting to go talk to them. So they try and train everybody up as best as they can to not say dumb shit, swear too often, or I'm guilty of that on this. But when I had my interviews, I think I was pretty good most of the time, um, and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I suggested it to this series, and no interest. So deaf ears. Jake's Jones has asked about our thoughts of the upcoming series that's coming up. That's sort of the one at this stage where we're undecided on how much we want to talk about. We're happy to promote guys from that who want to talk about what they're up to, what they're doing with it, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we've just copped a lot of stuff from some guys within that organization, and again, like I'm sure we'll still lay comment on things once events happen, but at this stage, yeah, for that series, I'm interested to see what the numbers in pro are going to look like. I know there's a few guys who can't afford to get back in this season. It's stuff we spoke about all last year on the show when it came to making numbers work and guys burning themselves out, and we copped a lot of shit for that. So, um, and it sort of started to rear its head a little bit with a few guys that I think we're close to and are struggling to be able to get back on the grid next year. So, um, are you competing in that series, Jake? Um, do I have a Valentine? Yeah, here it is. Um, so yeah, look, I'm definitely excited to see. Look, um, James Abbott's been announced that he's coming back to drive next year. Definitely excited to see him back in competing. I knew he just lost a little bit of interest and a little bit of heart when he decided that to sort of take a step back from it because I had spoken to him that retardedly hot round last year. Last year, which was the
Huh?
end of the following, like the end of the season. Oh no, it might have been even the year, no, it was the year before that. Um, there was like a crazy hot one, and he was sort of a little bit um, a little bit down on it, but looks like he's coming back with vengeance. And I just remember him when his original S15 was blue, street driven, and he was just sending it under the bridge at Oran Park North. Um, Super good driver.
I don't even remember that at
Uh huh.
all. I
So
just remember when it was blazing it.
really,
Yeah, because
even with
I
boost,
remember he.
when I had boost bits down the side, and before I got to blue.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah, that blue car.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah. Um,
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I remember that now.
yeah, no, mint driver.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was then at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, other than a really good
Yeah.
steerer.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, very good
Yeah,
driver.
he's a good driver. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like him.
yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see him back. Car looks cool. So we'll see what.
Yeah, you showed me some photos and
Yeah, a lot of bar
yeah.
work, a lot of work done to that car. So once it's finished, should be a weapon, and hopefully, yeah. I think last year when he jumped in the 350, very different car to what he's driven. So this will be back to, I think, feeling more at home for him, even though it's a fresh car. Jake said Jake's trying to find support to do the season, but he's struggling. So yeah, um, yeah, I don't want to comment too much more on what people are doing for that series because I don't have a huge amount of background other than bits and pieces that have come up online. There hasn't been a huge announcement of guys driving. As I said previously, I'll follow Mitch Doyle with close eyes. He's a good friend of both of ours. Um,
Yeah. He's just got a new engine in, I think, running.
and that
It
and
sounds
that's
like it's gonna be pretty mental.
and that's in the Sabo car, so not the Hulk car, but the Sabo car. I'm pretty sure. Uh, so yeah, definitely exciting to see him go and do that. I've had a lot of battles with Mitch, so
Have you?
yeah, I think both Mount Gambiers we end up against each other, and then no, my first Mount Gambier I ended up against him in both the state round and in the national round, and then I feel like somewhere else I ended up versing him too, so we always seem to find each other, but yeah, super cool guy. Definitely excited to see him strut his stuff. Uh, looks like a monster, but yeah, definitely a gentle giant. So yeah, keen to see how he goes. Um, yeah, I'm not sure who else I'm guys who I'm super interested in seeing them how they would progress. I think are dudes that at this stage are probably going to be missing round one for financial reasons. So I'll wait and see what the entry list looks like. And then I think my boy Logan Waterhouse is doing pro am uh, at this stage. So keen to see how he goes at round one and. Hopefully he can actually get some wheel spin in that little dado and not just speed straight
That
line everywhere.
that thing's freaking fast. It's way faster than everyone thinks it is.
Yeah, so let's see if he can get some wheel speed up. He told me today he just spent a lot of hours porting an engine and got 5 kilowatt out of it. So
You just put a turbo on and
well, I
it'll
said
be
to him 50 shot of
yeah.
NOS and just be done with it, but
Oh yeah, NOS. Yeah.
I don't know.
But can you run NOS on such a long course for such a long time over a course? Is that I don't know much about NOS. Is it
Uh,
possible? Like, could you just run it streaming for the whole?
what do you mean? Nah, you can. Oh yeah, I think dipshit runs a carby still. Um, but you can do it through throttle position. So if you're not like full planted or whatever, it only gives you like a whatever shot. So you can set it up more like a turbo than just being like on all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like ECUs do fancy shit now, other than destroy people's motors. Isn't that right, Jake? Um, Mitch said he's gonna be drifting and eating 2 minute noodles, so
Yeah.
killing
I'm
himself.
sure someone will. I'm sure someone will buy him a schnitzel or something.
Yeah, if they're lucky, maybe. Um, yeah, the other person I'm interested to see is I'm looking forward to seeing Mesmer come back down and do the trip from far north Queensland and keep his
Yeah.
role. I'm pretty sure at this stage he's
He's got a
doing
new car lined up as well, doesn't he?
no, he's just cut his up from what I've seen.
Oh, okay.
Uh, we should try and catch him around the first round, and I'm gonna do some live Facebook stalking. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he's just cut his car up to try and take some weight out of it.
Yeah, because I don't think he was quite planning to go to the pro series. He's just gonna
No,
stay in pro am.
yeah, he's got a when we spoke to him we actually spent a good couple of hours, be at least a good hour speaking to him after the conclusion of last season and really good chat. And yeah, I think he's improving the chassis that he's got, but can't afford to do more than that. So that looking at Facebook, that's all that's been done. He's started to cut some weight out of it. So I'm just excited to see what he already did really well in what he was, and I don't think it's not like the tracks are changing all that much. Um, but yeah, I think he's another one I'm excited to see. I'm hoping it'll be him and Logan going head to head through the first round down into the finals, and then hopefully
Hmm.
my boys busy focusing on drifting instead of chasing tail instead.
Wouldn't be as entertaining though.
Andrew Collins said the only good thing about your car getting stolen, Greg, was you got rid of the Haltech. Yeah, I have that stuff back. If anybody wants to buy a PS 1000, it's for sale.
It's really good, isn't it?
It's good as long as you don't make over like 260 kilowatt, you're fine. So put on your SR and just keep. EG should run it on his T28, and then he should be right.
Pass.
So
No.
yeah. Do you know I feel like I'm hanging to get back into competition.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, a few weeks ago you're like, no, I'm over this competition life.
I don't know.
I like these grassroots events that we're doing.
I do like them, but I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of a hole in my life at the moment.
You're a comp guy. I know you're a comp guy,
Yeah,
and
but
you're a
that's
good comp guy.
but that's how
You know, you can present yourself well, and I think a lot of people should watch you and see
just
you're a good example because you've come from like an international competing level,
yeah.
and you're bringing stuff that people just don't even know that they should be doing.
Yeah, but then I suggest it on here and people think I'm retarded, so
No, don't worry about it. They're dumb. They're
yeah.
yeah. If they're smart, they'll take it on board. They'll consider it, and they go, "No, Greg's a dickhead. That's fine."
Which
But
is
if they just
which is 99% of people in my life.
No. They'll think Greg's a dickhead, but he's got the good idea, so then they'll do it. But there's some other people that just go, "No, Greg said this. I'm not doing it." Oh, that's just bullshit.
Do you
Do
know whose car I've been really looking at, and I just like, I just want something like that again. Is Aaron DeWar's car, not the big ass motor, just the fact that there's nothing left of it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Aaron DeWar,
The beige one.
yeah. Have you seen underneath it? There's nothing there.
Nah.
It's
Nah.
That's cool. Like it's just like it's a go kart basically, with panels put.
I just thought it was cool with Dura and Prosnik at Wakefield. They looked really cool, and they look such well matched cars as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Lately I've just been, just, you know what? Just gotta get focused in life, and then once I'm older again. What the fuck does that even mean? What are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. Yeah. I'll get into it once I can.
Why can't you can compete in your 350?
It doesn't work.
I thought the engine's on its way over.
Yeah, but I realised I paid for...
what'd you do?
No. Paid for what's it called? Economy Road or something like that. And...
What does that mean?
They only pick it up once they got an empty truck. And no trucks have anything... So I think if it hasn't left... Like, if it didn't get picked up today, I'm going to call them and see if I can change what the booking is. Yeah, because I was like... Because the others all like express something overnight. It was Economy Road, Express, or Express overnight Express or something.
Yeah.
So I sort of think that Express means like a week on a big parcel from Western Australia, maybe a week to I'd probably say a week. Overnight. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure you can get an engine from WA to Sydney overnight, so that's not really a thing.
On a plane.
And then I thought Economy Road would be like they sort of pick it up, like whatever date you've organised to pick up, it'll sit in their depot, and then it might take 2 or 3 weeks depending on space on trucks. No, they literally only go and pick it up from where it's being picked up from once they have like space. So I need to probably look at that. So anybody using Ego, if you need it within like a month or two, don't do road economy.
What's the price difference? Did you look at the price difference?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just like,
I thought you went.
I was just like, I don't need it in that time period, so I put it on that one, thinking that like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Nah, rip me. So, yeah. So we'll see, but yeah, it also depends on. I could compete in the 350, but it depends on what series and what's around and what I want to do. So, time and energy.
I think
Connor said Connor said he's never had an issue with using economy on Ego. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Nah, that's bullshit. Like we all know, Connor has his own postal service, and it always gets stuck somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
I know he's even paid for express on certain things, and it's gone from Sydney to Canberra. It's gone via Brisbane or Darwin or something stupid, because it's Connor Post.
Yeah, fair enough. It's probably got more stamps in its passport than Connor does.
Probably. Or gets held up through customs for 6 weeks or 6 months or something. He's a Yeah, it's funny because he pays so much more extra for postage, and then he gets it slower than a normal person would through normal post.
But got it the way that he wanted to get it there.
Well, that was the idea, but it just didn't turn up on time. Or, or he gets apparently he gets the guys that just they'll come and deliver a slip to say they've missed you and put it on his door even though he's at home.
Yeah, that's I think a fairly common one.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty funny. But if there was have you thought about any of the comps around at the moment?
I wish
Or there isn't one.
I wish Rally was closer.
How far? It's not that far away for you, is it? It's like 6 hours.
Yeah, 5 or 6. It's a big push.
And then you can even like break it up and stop at, Newcastle or Port if you got mates there.
Yeah, but it's killing a day of work on the way up. That's the part that I am not a huge fan of. But because I'm not doing a whole lot of trips, if I get the car up and going, then yeah, there's potential that I have actually considered. As much as I hated the one round, okay, I shouldn't say I hated. Met some really nice people, but I did not really enjoy the round that I had done previously, there. But now that it's under guys that I know and all that. But my biggest problem with that is whenever I drive in series with guys that I know the judges are assholes to me because they know me.
Yeah.
So it's worse. But again, it's more just getting that fire back inside where it's like you've got that one run to do it perfect. So,
do you think that's still a good system?
As an athlete who's always been an athlete, yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I like
it. For such a for like top tier, then I can completely understand. It should be on point every time. But like for say like a state level kind of thing, even actually probably a club. Yeah, maybe where's the difference change? Like the club level or state level?
Yeah, but you just got to appease your audience, like really, like not. And when I say audience, I don't mean the people who come to watch. I mean like the people who are paying to enter. You've just got to appease them. So if they want more seat time and to feel like they get a second chance because it's unfair that they got knocked out, then that's what you got to give them because that's what pays the bills. But for me as an athlete, yeah, I love the one hit system. It's hard when you're trying to make an expensive sporting program work or whatever to only have that. But yeah, it's for me it's that satisfaction or that that sort of inner burn that is like you put all that pressure on yourself knowing that like that's what you got to do. The DCA events where yeah, my first DCA event down in Tassie, like shit, I hadn't hit third gear. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have done a way more mundane entry and rolled in a whole lot slower. But I listened and was like, oh, they said full throttle, so I'm like, off the start line and just chucking it as hard as I can and then struggle to pull the car up and all this sort of stuff because I got no idea what I'm doing on a track like that because I'm a figure eight specialist. But just knowing that there's 60 cars and I've got to be top 32 to make it. Like those 2 runs meant everything on that day. Like that was everything. And it's that pressure that's the drug and that's the pressure that creates that drug that you keep going back for. For me personally, that's the drug that I go back for.
Yeah, okay.
Not the wank and the e-fame or whatever. Having people being like, "Oh, your car's cool." That stuff like that makes me excited. I like that. But it's that pressure knowing that like that's it. Danielle and I talk about it all the time, and that's like sometimes where our desire for like wanting to get back in and compete or do something competitive comes from, because it's like it's that one shot. Um, and yeah, like you either get like the sheer disappointment, and man, I've had some sheer disappointment in my life because of sport, and then the sheer joys when you've actually managed to pull it off. So that's why I try and beat into my students every goddamn day. So yeah, yeah. So I don't mind the system. It all comes down to whether or not you're trying to develop or whatever.
So a national level competition should be like that,
I even think a state level competition should be like that.
but a club level competition should be a lot sort of softer because the audience is really for a club level competition is for the competitors, not
I still think it can be that, but then
the
you've got to,
audience.
but I think you've just got to have, you've always got to have that subculture that when it's not competition, you encourage harder, stronger driving, or like closer driving, or you know, there's a push for improvement. So as we always say, and we go around in circles saying this shit every episode. If people have listened to this shit for 2 hours and 50 minutes, whatever, into this, um, is you talk about it. People don't practice. They try and use competition for practice. Don't use competition for practice. Go to other stuff for practice, and then go get that burn for competition. Like simple as that. And then on that day, you can be like, I was the baddest mofo on that track, and you can claim that, and you can claim that when you win the event. I kept my car together. I kept my car wheels pointing forwards, all that sort of stuff. Instead of being like, I got several chances to keep my car going in the right direction, and that progressed me through to the second round, and then I managed to win because the other guy crashed his car or something, and he had four chances as well. Like, yeah, I don't know. So, I don't know.
Okay.
Some people won't agree with it, and you don't have to agree with it. I'm saying that's where my burn comes from.
Yep.
So,
No, I think it's good. I think top tier stuff, like why do you need another chance? You're top level, like you should be on your A game all the time.
yeah. And look, that is the sucky part for drifting, because it is such a, oh, your run's done, off you go. But I did a sport that you had 3 minutes to shine, and after your 3 minutes, next. So it's not Bathurst or something that you can do for hours. Yes, Logan, I agree with you. Nothing shits me more than lining up at a competition and people not wanting to tandem practice. At a competition, you should literally be doing 2 laps that are non-tandem, 2 to 4 laps, a shakedown lap, maybe another shakedown lap. If it's a new track, just picking up your markers, maybe one more lap picking up your markers, tandems after that. Nothing but tandems. Because your lead runs should be what you're trying to do as your qualifying run, so you don't need qualifying practice runs. Simple as that.
Mm.
Um,
Okay,
Jake
that was
just,
interesting.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
sorry. Jake just said, Jake Jones just said, best event I ever drove was at a G1 event the day before the event. I had a grip day at Malala. Practice makes perfect, and it's something no one in Australia gets anywhere near often enough, like we said. So, uh, um,
Yeah, it's hard to get practice here. I think because of the
no, because people
there's a
spend
lot of
too, no,
limitations at us.
no, people spend too much money on their cars. And Jake, you're guilty
Yeah.
of this too. Um, Having too expensive cars cuts down on that time. But then when you were able to go into that situation, you knew it was for the best of you. And I was guilty of that too. My car always being broken the last couple of years. The first year I was really good. Went out into my first season of high tech and I was sitting in like the top eight after like 3 or 4 rounds that I did. And I'd never competed in drifting in my life. I'd only been driving just over 12 months or like 18 months at that stage. But because I'd driven so often on that track for that whole year, I did really well. Um, and yeah, it's just people spending too much money on cars. Like end of the day, and most people say that, and some people are happy to admit it, and then others aren't. That build the car and then build the skill. Sadly, Jake was guilty of sort of the opposite of, well, not the opposite of that, but started from a lower car, went too far up, but then being a young guy couldn't afford to keep a second car that would have kept him on track while the race car was in the garage. So I think once you get to that point, you need to make a program work that means you can have something in the garage to go and practice in. Um,
Yeah.
if it like
Yeah.
like ideally that's what you'd be trying to do, or like you've got something super mega reliable, but I don't think there's anything such as that in
Yeah, but
drifting that's super
if
mega
you
reliable. Not at
if you have a high power car, normally you go through a lot of things like
Oh, everything's just
your wear and
expensive.
tear in the car, tires,
Yeah.
fuel. Yeah, the costs of maintaining or like practicing in a car like that would be huge. Like it's probably at one point it's going to be cheaper just to buy another car to practice in.
Yeah. George, what do you mean when you say, um, has any like, why doesn't anybody try a similar layout to the Red Bull car park drift? And in addition to battles, are you talking like the drift shifters type event, or as in the World Championships all those years ago? Because using the sensors and all that just becomes, if you're talking like drift shifters type event, like that's a big hype event. Um, and I think the reason that sort of event they don't incorporate battles, and I'm sure Jake could probably back me up on this one, is it's supposed to be a spectacle, and as soon as you run tandems, you risk damaging two cars and destroying the spectacle. For the shouldn't call them dumb fans, um, or they're not really fans, just the casual viewer, that is trying to appease, as opposed to my thing's doing weird stuff, as opposed to an event where they're going for, um, but yeah, yes, Jake, we'll add you on Facebook and we'll have a chat, and it'd be good to get you on and just talk shit about shit rather than just talking about um, who you are and what you do, but just your idea and your values on things. So thank you for being in the comments, and yeah, we'll get in touch with you for sure. Um, Sorry, I'm just reading comments.
That's okay. I should really be saying something, but I'm not. I'm just not really following your train of thought at the moment.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just saying, like, if you was talking about drift shifters, then all those, you work in IT, all those sensors, all that stuff, sort of stuff start to get expensive. So unless you're an organization like an FD or whatever, that sort of stuff is
Well,
just
yeah,
not
I never
viable.
really watched it. I just sort of heard, well, I read article on the first one that was in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I never didn't watch anything to do with the last one that was on last year. And I don't think, like, from the way they described it, I don't think you could actually incorporate two cars because I can't imagine the sensors would be able to distinguish the difference between the two cars
Yeah,
if they're that close together, unless
yeah,
there
it'd
was a
just be
separation.
yeah, it'd just be triggering them at the same like if you're close enough to the
If they were
person,
like, yeah,
if you're super close, then you shouldn't be triggering it a second time. There should be no triggering.
that's right. Yeah,
Um,
it might sort of change,
maybe
adjust, maybe.
maybe that's the idea. If you're not triggering sensors and you get no score as the chase run, you've done a really good job.
Yeah, but then someone will need to go through and then need to remove it. I think, yeah, as you said, part of the spectacle is that everything is instant. Like you can see the
Yeah,
score
yeah, yeah.
rise as they're going through, and then at the end of the run, this score that the computer has decided, or the criteria, and that's,
Yeah,
I guess,
I think the
the idea
reason
of it.
he's
Yeah.
saying single runs maybe for pro-am, similar to car park, drifts and tandems for pros, more experience. Again, it's like it all comes down to the level of where people want to be. If a series wants to do a certain format, then people sort of follow suit with that. So the season that I ran high tech, I got together with one of the other guys who was sort of new into it at that stage, had done part of the season before, and Jason and I would try and go out to figure eight nights, try and find the figure eight night the week or the couple of weeks before the next event being on, and would just go out there and figure eight, for anybody who's gone to a regular figure eight night, you go out there and you just thrash complete circles and you just don't stop for 4 minutes or whatever. But we'd go out there, ask for only two cars to go out. We'd roll down to where the start line would be. We'd stop. We'd stage. We'd look at each other. We'd go. Do the 2 laps. Stop. Stage. Go. Um, and we took that off our own back to go and practice like that. So there's nothing stopping people from treating their practice or their open track days like they're a competition and preparing themselves for that sort of thing. So I think your solo runs and all that sort of stuff in competition, I think it's fine. Australia, we don't have enough days and enough events. That's the sort of stuff event organisers like your Revolutions or Drifting SA could do it on their regular practices or whatever, and be like, we're just, if you want to be judged, we've got our series judges out here. EG's come out for um, for the day, and he's willing to help us out. If you want your runs scored by EG because he's out here, line up in this line, and he'll know that you're wanting your score judged, and he'll take note of the run you've just done. Like, I think that's the sort of thing that if you want to do solo passes and all that, and get people to get into that side of things, that's how you approach that rather than as a full-blown comp, because as soon as you put it under comp insurance, everything gets expensive. I help run Super Drift, and yeah, as soon as you put anything under competition, shit just gets expensive. So that's why stuff like that within Australia just doesn't sort of work at this stage, because yeah, God, like even bloody QR wasn't wanting to spend money on insurance, so that's why they wasn't allowed to have tandems as uh, even with roll cages, no tandems with a passenger. And they're in,
a Matsuri, yeah.
yeah, and now they've finally realised, oh, this is what people are crying out for. We'll pay that little bit more for insurance to be able to do it. But it hurts bottom ends and stuff. So not bottom ends of cars, but the bottom end of the pay that an event makes. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Motorcana drifting style events and stuff like that, that just comes down to event organizers organizing that sort of stuff and trying it and taking the risk. But people, yeah, it's expensive to take risks. Australia is expensive. That's why people don't generally take the risk. I know Luke took the risk on Mount Gambier because it was the deal was not super attractive, but somewhat attractive because they're willing to help out and do certain things and all that. So it was worth going there. But if you tried to run an event like that, say in um, a Sydney Olympic Park or something crazy like that, they're going to charge you through the ass for it, and it's just not worth the risk. So yeah, I think that's why stuff like that just doesn't happen at the end of the day. Um, it's all about. It's all the dollars and cents, or else we'd be drifting at a few other tracks. But dollars and cents.
Car parks.
And car
Because
parks.
I know some other organisations have been trying to get other open areas like open lots, and they've been hit back because of they need certain things done, certain reports, and
yeah.
And then okay, we'll go get this report. And they said it's $70,000 to get this report generated,
yeah.
And it's not guaranteed to actually allow them to use it for a track.
Yeah, and it's because they think that's all government sort of red tape, because they think, well, we're going to charge you that sort of money for that report because you're going to make X amount of money from it, or think that people are going to be able to turn it into some massive amount of money when really it's for 2 weekends of the year that is going to generate just enough to put on the next event. Like, so that's the issue with the world we live in, really. So yeah, I don't know.
We need to be richer, I think. Drifters need to be richer.
Yeah, if I was
I think all that'll happen is they'll just have 5-power cars and that's it. Nowhere to drive it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because then you could pay people to fix it too. No, so
Yeah.
we all need like good money, but not retarded money. So we've got
I
the
still
money.
think you're gonna pay on the cars. Like the amount of built cars around
Yeah,
this area.
because then I can put on. I don't have to be good at driving it, but I can put on Instagram like that I have like this car that makes retarded power. That's how you do it.
I met a guy just recently, and he wants to get into some motorsport and clean drifting, and he thinks he needs about 250 kilowatts before he can start doing that sort of stuff. I told him, no, just get out there, just save that money for the on the tune and the turbo and every other sporty mod, and use your 230 currently, and just go get some experience.
So it's 230 and says he needs 250 to drive.
Yeah, because that's the standard. Well, it's funny because like when I do the DSA demos, most of the guys out there that come for passenger rides, they have cars and they're about 250 kilowatts, and they're thinking about getting into it now at 250 at the wheels. I mean, that's scary. Like my car in Japan is probably around 210, 230
Yeah,
kilowatts. It scares the shit out of me.
yeah,
It's so fast.
but that's because a lot of the stuff that you see is people with that sort of power. So yes, Logan, we are aware you can drive high-powered cars on slow tracks. That's just not. That's like the buddy.
You know who was good at doing the high-powered car on slow tracks is Sabo. Sabo was crazy when it came to the slow section of the track. He had so much car control.
Yeah, Saturday I never saw like little bits and pieces of videos from DCA events of him. I never saw a huge amount of him, and he was out before I started DCA, so that makes me sad because everybody talks about him, and then I
He was impressive. Yeah,
never got to
his
experience it firsthand.
car was good, driving is good. I don't know. I think everything just started costing a bit too much.
Connor, nobody cares that you make 100 kilowatts to the front wheels.
His car makes more than 100 kilowatts.
Yeah, once it hits VTEC, yo.
Man, he was chasing down Nick the other day. I think Nick's about 160, 170 at the wheels. Even though there's a weight difference, I'm pretty sure that Connor's car had no issues keeping up with him.
Yeah, he's got no drive shaft and no rear diff and stuff to weigh the car down. Half the car's useless. It's just to keep it
Yeah.
straight or sideways, whatever you want to call it.
Sideways? Yeah, just throw the back end around.
Hey, Connor, have you ever thought about like experimenting with like doing a rear end on that car? Well, no, like
Probably has.
no, yeah, it probably has. Either trying to lengthen it or shorten it, and just seeing what feels better. But because like that, there's nothing in the back of that car. Can you build one that just, yeah, where you lengthen it by a meter, shorten it by a meter, try a few things, and then see what feels better?
He has a steering shaft going down the car. I don't know how easily that is to change.
Oh, he's still got rear steer in the.
It's got mechanical steering.
Oh, he's still
in the
using
rear.
that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he was still using that.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I didn't realize he was still using the rear steer. I thought he had no rear steer. Is that in both cars though? Even the Japan car? They have rear steer in that series? I don't think that series.
I think it's not doesn't have rear steer in the Japan car.
Yeah, I don't
But
think that
had a
series has it.
really shit steering setup before. I think he's done. Yeah, he did a power steering version in the Japan car. So he could probably do the. Well, it's not as easy in the Japan car compared to the Australia car.
Yeah. But he seems like he's got a few cars going, so
Yeah, I think maybe that's something you could try out with one of the spare cars.
yeah, because YouTube will love
Actually,
that shit.
He might was talking about doing some big upgrades in the car, so maybe he can make it adjustable in the Australia car.
Just adjustable length. It'd be so funny.
So,
Depending on the track, you make it longer or shorter.
so then, so then it's more stable or
Yeah,
like more.
yeah,
Yeah,
more snappy.
yeah.
I think it'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
So maybe.
That's cool. Um, yeah. Any other shit you want to talk?
No, not this. Not at the moment, anyway. I know. I guess should we announce next week's guest before we confirm it again?
Yeah, nah, let's not do that because we might end up on an episode like this again.
Okay.
And there might be weeks we miss out if like we can't secure a guest and we don't have too much shit to talk. We might just talk shit in the background, or we'll come on and talk shit a little bit. But um, I don't know. I don't know. I need
I
to.
think we should do another episode with Blake in it.
Well, yeah, but fuck, he's unreliable too. I just need to
Yeah.
gotta find our mojo. Yeah, well, look, at this stage, we're holding auditions for a third host. If you have good internet and a tech savvy and good at design and you're good at talking,
Or if you have an idea of a better medium than Skype, because I have a feeling Skype there's issues once you get more than two people.
This is what even Maximum Driftcast uses. Nah,
Yep,
Maximum
because
they have
they're together. Oh, they got one person that's off-site or off
so
studio.
yeah. So what we could I'm not, no. So they've got the two guys in the studio
Yeah,
and they're streaming directly into their server or whatever, and then they have one guy Skype call in who's their other host, and then they'll have their guest Skype call in as well.
yeah, but they could be on. Yeah, okay.
So
I
at
don't
least
know.
yeah. So there's at least a three. It's still a three-way Skype chat no matter what, but I think they're only using video from like I think when I do this, or if I can cut myself out or do something, um, that's sort of what they're doing, and then they have a dude on a switchboard switching things back and forth.
Yeah, yeah,
And
because they have that guy that they talk to, and
yeah, Brian, who they
um,
cut back and forth to. So
yeah, and he
that,
controls the audio as well, I think.
yeah, but that's somebody who's not he's engaged but not fully engaged with what's going on, and that's what happens half the time with this is we start to engage with other things going on to try and make it all happen, and then we lose things. So yeah, look, we're playing with ideas at this stage, so we'll see how we're going, or we'll just keep doing this shit. So if you are somebody that we don't know a lot of people, and you just want to chat, don't be afraid. Send me a message. Don't send EG a message. Send me a message. Let us know what you think. Don't be afraid to send us opinions. We don't actually get that butt hurt. I get more upset when people tell us what we're doing is sort of wrong or I can't have that opinion or whatever. Like when people say that stuff, I honestly don't fucking care that much. Um, but if you like what we're doing, if you have an idea of what would be oh, we liked where you went with that. Like, I wish you had done more of that, or blah blah whatever. Just message and tell us. I have mates who do it. I'm sure Logan will message me after this and tell me something was retarded or shut the fuck up or something like that. So I probably shouldn't swear so much, but today I don't really care. Because then I know some people play it at work. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing is Michael's announced that new um, e-lift thing, whatever it was called.
Fuck, shocking. Yeah. Michael from if you've listened this late, uh,
I just saw his name pop up. That's the only reason why
yeah,
I remembered about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Michael from Driftbit. He told me before last episode and sent me the video, but it wasn't public until like Thursday or something. And I know Luke did the sneaky and put it on Facebook when he wasn't supposed to yet. I don't know if that ended up staying up, but the guys from Driftbit have made this cool like sort of actuator thingy. I don't know. It uses magical unicorns or something. And yeah, it's just a push button remote that uh, with a something that's attached to I think the diff or the rear subframe, and you don't need to jack your car, and it jacks your car up for you to be able to change wheels. Um, Considering GK Tech got in trouble for their did you see that where they got the recall notice on their low ramps because they didn't come with instructions?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
So I said to Michael,
Yeah, they had to send them out instructions,
yeah,
even PDF or something. Yeah.
yeah. So I said to Michael, please tell me like that there's a shitload of things like that's coming with this, like instructions and disclaimers and all this. And he's like, yeah, you wouldn't believe it, because some idiot
Okay.
will raise the car, lay underneath it. Some idiot will sit on a remote, and the car will just be like, down on itself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think it's actually getting announced tomorrow. But yeah, that's what I saw on Think's wall.
was it tomorrow
I think it's
Thursday or
tomorrow.
was last Thursday?
Oh, sorry, it was last
I
Thursday.
thought it was last Thursday. I don't know, but we'll wait and see what happens.
It was a Thursday.
It was a
That's all I
Thursday.
remember.
No,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it showed up somewhere recently because they're doing a pre-sale for 13 ones. But I know they've got just all S chassis ones at this stage, so
Yeah.
I told them to make Z ones, but it's not like mine works, so it doesn't matter. No, you cannot trust anybody these days because human beings are fucking stupid. And this stuff means that if people buy this product from the Battlist guys, like this E-Lift thing, that there might be more progress on the drift bit side of things because there's been a lot going on in the background with that. So that product is not dead. Stuff is still happening. New technology is being worked out. I don't know if Michael will probably log in just as I say stuff and then be like, not allowed to say that. But rumor that I can probably drop without getting in too much trouble is I think some of the external sensors are being able to be done away with. So still being able to get the measurements that they've been getting, but yeah, without needing some of the sensors. So,
I don't know how that works then.
well, who cares how it works? It just makes life easier.
That's magic. Okay. Logan says it drops this Thursday, so tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's when you can buy the product. But it got announced last Thursday, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Seriously, guys, if there is topics that you want covered, ideas, anything like that, message us, put it in the community group, join the community group, whatever. We might not cover it. We might not. Like, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass.
Yeah, I know.
If
Yeah.
you've asked it, we're gonna cover it, because sometimes we either don't have an idea about it, like we have no idea about it. We talk about some of that shit anyway, but it's better
Yeah.
when we don't have any idea because the story's even better.
I know.
The make
So
believe,
good.
the make believe is better.
Yeah.
The person or the event or the whatever is potentially we want nothing to do with.
Yep.
Or not in a positive light anyway. It might not be relevant for the time period that we're in. Or it might be something that we've touched on 85 other times in episodes previous, and we're kind of sick of talking about it, and that's potentially why as well. But but hopefully, once the season sort of kicks up again and I'm back in watching FD and all that sort of stuff, I'm all pumped and amped again.
I gotta watch FD as well, don't I? Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to converse with you.
Oh, this season should be sick, Pat. I'm so excited for this.
That's what you said though about last season. I don't think you even watched the final. No, I did watch the final. I remember that. It was at Irwindale because there was not meant to be at Irwindale.
Yeah, get Alexi Smith on. That's EG's lazy. People, EG's
Me?
lazy. I'm lazy too.
No, I did ask him a few times, and he says, "Okay, I'll get back to you."
That's what I get from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a lot of people in a lot of series that we don't actually know. Like, or are uncomfortable asking. If you have friends of friends who you think are interesting, ask them if they'd be interested in coming on the show on our behalf or whatever, and then get them to message us or we'll message them. Like you message us being like, hey, I've spoken to so and so, they're interested in going. Like a Justin Gruner or a whatever. Like those guys, like we don't have really any contact with them, so it's sort of awkward, or we get left in a um, request box or something like that. And EG just doesn't add people on Facebook. Um, so we sort of miss some of those sort of things. There are people that I can get in touch with through other people for sure, but yeah, there's lots of people all over the country that we just sort of don't. Yeah, it's a bit awkward. And then yeah, best way to watch FD would be
Live stream.
yeah, live stream on you. Well, previous seasons they've been using YouTube. Sometimes it changes from year to year.
They have their own website with their own viewer or something, don't they?
Yeah, but generally you're better off.
Yeah.
But it ends up being.
Last year they did it through Facebook as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
But YouTube is your best one because you can live stream on a smart TV and um, yeah, you don't end up when you stream through through the website browser, it's streamed via YouTube, and then you can get lag and all that sort of stuff. So, because Australian internet's great, EG can attest.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm actually wondering if broadband's going to be any faster from what other people have said.
Just stand outside with an antenna on your head, mate, and you might get some reception. Yeah. Logan said Mitch Lana, keen to hear his plans. That's what we said at the top of the show. You clearly weren't watching at that stage. Thanks for your input, mate. We already spoke about that. And yeah, so best bet for watching FD is follow FD on social media, and then I'd be watching it through YouTube because yeah, it tends to be the best bet on that. You're saying Fernando, well, what do you want to know? What do you want to hear? Because only in the last couple of years he's basically only been running the drift school. So if you want history and background,
he's been doing it for ages.
I understand that. No, I know
Yeah.
he's been driving for a long time. I'm saying
He used to he did Project D. Remember that?
Mate, I'm very aware of all that stuff. I'm saying in the last couple of years, he's been just very centered around the school. Do people want us to go right back to the beginning? Because I remember my first drift day that I went out to, he had the big F-Series truck. He had the Sabres car before it was the Sabres car.
Productions, wasn't it?
And it was the strawberry faced and it was blue with the silver, but it had no logos on it yet. It was the very first drift. That was my very first introduction to drifting ever. And I still remember that.
That was
like 2006, 2005. So
yeah.
But yeah. All right. We need to message people. Ferds is probably the best bet for you.
Huh?
You should contact Ferds. That's your job.
Yeah, I can.
We're delegating while we're still alive.
Okay.
And then I'll annoy Matt Harvey a little bit more now that his trailer's been recovered and that stress is done, because I still want to catch up with him.
Yeah. For Connor did bring up a good point, because I think it's probably important for us. Is anyone in Canberra listening? It's really bad at the moment because at the moment the entry numbers are really low for Motorcana here in Canberra.
There's 11 people watching. 2 of them are us.
Shh. So let me get through this. If they listen to it tomorrow, you still got up until Sunday. You can enter on the day. It's Sunday the 17th of February. Enter, because at the moment they're looking to permanently cancel the event. So, as in, they won't do any more rounds because there's not enough entries. I know last year they were really struggling. I think this year, this will be, if they don't actually get their break even, they're not going to do any more after this, which is really bad for people that...
Team Red Stage can host them.
No, because it's really hard. They're the only guys, because they have... it's really hard to get a hold of that facility. And these guys have a friend or something in there. and they're sort of through mates so that they can get access to it. And it's really good for car control, like just to learn how to steer, how to accelerate, brake, everything. Like,
That's what your driving test is for.
no, it's not. It's just a driving test is just for road rules.
I'm joking. I'm just stirring you up.
So if you can come down, don't watch. You have to compete. Spectating does nothing because they don't make any money from there. You have to compete. Minimum requirements is a registered car, a CAMS license, and CAMS membership. So, yeah, there's some funny sort of rules because of the facilities sort of against that sort of thing. They only want car demos and things, not a motorsport event on there.
What's the name of the organisation?
MG Car Club of Canberra. So there's a whole bunch of older guys. So you think they would be sort of against young people coming through, but yeah, they've been pretty cool because I've been gone there for 10, 13 years, I think, actually.
I think most people realise that when there's a drop off in numbers, they'll take money from wherever the hell they can possibly get money. So if that means young people, they're okay with it.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, as long as you sort of follow the rules, because they're sort of imposed. They like having fun. Like when I did a big, which you're not meant to do now, but I did do it a pretty big smoke show once with a particular course because it's really easy to do it. They don't like that sort of thing, but they did enjoy it. But they know that they'll get in trouble by the facility, so they said, don't do it again. I said, okay. So.
And they did it again, claimed you forgot.
Hey.
Then you did it again and claimed you forgot.
Oh, no, I didn't do that. I didn't do it again. So definitely come out. I know there's people keep asking about it, and I can't tell them individually. I think that's one shit thing is some people say, hey, when you go drifting, let me know. And I said, well, like you got to message me. And I said, well, I can't message everyone individually.
Maybe you need a fan page. You need an athlete page.
No.
Yeah, then you can be like, I'm going drifting. And everybody will go.
No.
I'm going to start one for you.
Yeah, I know. I was going to start one for you as well.
EG appreciation fan page. But then you have to admin on it and put it up when you're going driving. No, then people might get your location and come beat the shit out of you like they've threatened.
No, I'm sure people could figure out what
Probably.
Especially from the description and everything else that's been posted on the internet. I'm pretty sure they could figure out. Canberra's not a big place.
Alright, well, let's wrap this up because I wasn't even keen to do this shit tonight, and then we end up talking for fucking 2.5 hours talking shit.
Yeah, I know.
And I can only talk so much shit on this, and we'll turn this off so I can talk more shit. Yeah, so next week we're supposed to have a guest. I think he should be pretty reliable. Shouldn't flake on us. Halfway Hangs and Adam Millsy is this weekend, right?
That's right, yeah.
Huge weekend between that 5-hour drive gap between Coffs Harbour and Brisbane. Yeah, going to be a massive weekend up there. So, yeah, if you like skids and just like seeing different types of drifting, then they're the two places to be this weekend. And yeah, I'm guessing the internet will be absolutely lit up this weekend. So excited to see that, and round 2 of D1NZ, Matty Hill driving. So should be cool.
Yep. Looking forward to all the content coming out.
Yeah, and Luke stopped watching as
soon as I could actually go and watch it.
Yeah, and Luke stopped watching as soon as I called him out and cheating on us. So.
Oh really?
All right, we will catch you guys next week. Yeah, we said every week we should have a guest, but fuck, I'm not gonna. I can't keep a promise anymore. So the two of us will probably see you next week.
We tried anyway. We tried.
Yeah, we tried. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
See yous.